Good Tuesday evening, everybody. David Paul here in the KHOU 11 Weather Center. The fog has been sticky all day, all on the coast and the bay. It's fog season on the upper Texas coast. We've got the chilly waters of the Gulf and the bay being overrun by this very warm, very humid, late spring-like air mass. And you put that warm, humid air over the cold water, it drops the temperature of the air mass to the dew point, and we get fog on the ground, a cloud, and that's what we've got. And we'll be stuck with those conditions for the next several days. So it is going to be foggy Christmas Eve on the coast, foggy on Christmas Day. And then during the overnight, the fog will move inland. So in the morning, if you have plans to get up and drive to different parts of Texas, and I know a lot of you do, it will be foggy going north on 45, east and west on I-10, northeast and southwest on 59, 69, down to the coast, out 290. The I-35 corridor, San Antonio, Austin, Waco, Dallas will also be foggy in the morning before everything burns off mid-morning-ish. So be really careful with reduced visibility in the morning, not just on the coast. We're going to get cold next week. Got a cold front coming in. We'll time that out here as we move along. High temp today did go to 81. That was at Bush Intercontinental Airport at 2:40 in the afternoon. Normal is 64, so 15 degrees or so above normal. Record high is 81, so we tied the record set back in 2015. We woke up this morning at 66 degrees. If you were here on this morning in 1989, however, you would have woke up to 7 degrees. I remember that morning well. I actually happened to be in Austin. I was in college at UT, but I had to go to work. I was working retail, and my car wouldn't start because the battery was froze. Ended up getting a jump start. But that's about as cold a morning as you'll get in Houston, and that was the coldest Christmas we've got on record here, going back as far as records go. College Station had a high temp of 80, well below the record of 86. There's Houston Bush. We tied the record of 81 today. We were a couple degrees shy of the record at Hobby, had a high of 80. The record there, 83. That'll still stand. And then Galveston was several degrees below their record. The fog keeping you guys cooler than you could be if you were getting the sun that we did have for the inland areas. Forecast at Bush Intercontinental Airport, 80 tomorrow would be but just below the record of 82 for tomorrow. The record on Christmas Day is 83. We're looking to tie that on Thursday. We're forecasting 83. And then again, 83 on Friday, where the record will be at 84. So flirting with records for the rest of the week. But take heart. There is some chilly air on the way. After a warm Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, we go into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, where temperatures will be back below normal. Cold front comes in Sunday evening, so still mild on Sunday, but Sunday night cold front comes in, pretty good north wind with it, and then it'll be much colder Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So wrapping up December and going into January, it's going to be chilly and coolish for you, whatever your plans are going out. If you're going out New Year's Eve, you're going to need a jacket for sure. These are the cameras across the area live here at 6:33 on a Tuesday evening. Buffalo Bayou, partly cloudy. Downtown, partly to mostly cloudy. We're partly cloudy in the Galleria area, and then Galveston is fogged in as yet another wave of sea fog comes in from off the shelf waters, the near shore water of the Gulf. Here's another look at it. Murdoch's has now disappeared. A little bit ago, you could see the Ferris wheel out at the tip of Pleasure Pier. Now that's completely obliterated by the sea fog coming in off the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. So here's where the fog is now, the bay and the coast. It moves inland overnight and develops overnight for the inland areas. And we wake up Wednesday morning with reduced visibility across the board. So I'm urging you guys to really be careful in the fog, extra space, slow down, and just from experience, that section of I-10 on the north side of the bay in Chambers County, if you're going east on I-10 or you know someone who is, I'm serious. Text them, tell them, say, hey, be really careful if you're going to be driving here before sunrise, Chambers County I-10. That spot right there, north side of the bay, can see visibilities drop to 0 at times. And that can be very, very dangerous. I know it. I've experienced it many times in my lifetime, having grown up here in Houston and going over to visit folks this time of the year, Beaumont, Lake Charles, Lafayette, and New Orleans. So tomorrow afternoon, fog burns off inland. We'll see the fog stay with us on the coast. And then it's a foggy Christmas Eve. This is the wee hours of Christmas Day, 3 a.m. Thursday. Maybe some parents will be up, having a cup of cocoa. Santa will be flying around, and he will need Rudolph to get him in and out of the Houston-Galveston area on Christmas Eve for sure, but no problem. That's why Rudolph's there. And then Wednesday, tomorrow, foggy in the morning. We burn it off by noon. 80 is the high temp as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Christmas forecast officially. We will forecast 83 for a high temp. That would tie the record. No rain expected. Fog in the morning. Light southeast breeze. So you'll be able to ride your new bike or go use a new slingshot you get. I remember getting a slingshot. Oh man, that was a great Christmas. So we were, hearing all the complaints about how warm it's forecast to be for Houston, and we decided to kind of look around at other traditionally warm weather spots for Christmas, just to compare our forecast to their forecast. So Houston, we're forecasting 83. Jacksonville, Florida, forecasting 76. Las Vegas, 76. Tucson, Arizona, forecasting 76. Miami forecasting 79. So all of the other warm weather spots are actually forecasting temps that are cooler than what we expect to have here in Houston, Texas. I don't know if that makes it better or worse. Looking back the last 5 Christmases, I got to tell you, we've been spoiled with cold weather Christmases. The last 4 of the last 5 Christmas days in Houston have been cold. 2024, we had a morning low of 57, high of 69, comfortably cool. 2023 had a low of 46. 2022, we had a low of 26. That's the coldest of the bunch over the last 5. In 21, we did hit a high of 80, so that was the last warm Christmas, 2021. Interestingly enough, earlier that year we had that deadly freeze across the state. And then in 2020 we had a low of 36. So we've been a little bit unusually cold the last 5 years, not out of what would be expected, not out of the realm of possibility to get a warm Christmas every now and then like we're going to have this year. Hobby 71, Sugarland 73, Conroe 70. These are current temps. Galveston 67. A couple of clouds coming off the Gulf. This low cloudiness but above ground level is going to thicken up as we head through the overnight. I wanted to show you dew point. So dew point's important when you're talking about fog. Dew point is the temperature at which the atmosphere becomes saturated with moisture and you begin to see it condense out in the form of a cloud. If that happens at the surface, you get a cloud at the surface, and that is fog. So for the foreseeable future, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even into Sunday, our dew points stay in the 60s. What that means is, with forecast temperatures overnight forecast to drop into the 60s, you're going to have the conditions that'll continue to create fog. So in the morning on Wednesday, Christmas Eve, Galena Park 67 in the morning with fog, Sunnyside 67, Inwood Forest 67, Alameda 67, Attic 67, North Shore 67, LaPorte 66. And again, you get closer to the bay and the fog can get very thick here. That's I-10. Again, that section right in here, heading to the north side of the bay in Chambers County, I-10 can be notorious for fog that can drop down to near 0 in the morning on these foggy December mornings. Navasota 68, El Campo 69, Liberty 65, Galveston a foggy 64 tomorrow morning. Across the nation, Del Rio 78, Houston we're 72, Dallas 76. It doesn't really get cold to get up here far northern plains. Minneapolis, St. Paul 27 degrees now. International Falls is at 0. And like yesterday, there is bitter cold air across the Klondike, northwest Canada. This is the coldest air on the planet right now. 54 below at Carmax, White Horses 42 below, Old Crow 43 below, Yellowknife 29 below. And if Houston is going to get a cold air outbreak, it almost always starts with a cold air right here. So this raises an eyebrow, but the jet stream pattern has to take a dip down into Texas to get that to come south into Texas. And that's just simply not going to happen. The jet stream pattern this time is ridging, which keeps everybody south of the jet warm. So Santa's going to need the AC in the sled, and he'll need the big coat going north into Canada on Christmas Day. 7-day forecast. Wednesday, 80. Hello, Santa. Merry Christmas on Thursday, 83. 83 Friday, 83 on Saturday, so we stay warm, relatively mild, quiet weather with the fog that will stay with us. And then Sunday is a little less warm, 75. We get a 30% rain chance as a front approaches on Sunday. Sunday night it goes through, and you will notice this one. It looks like we're going to get a pretty good northeast wind Monday. And it's colder and cloudy. That's a winter day for Houston. Monday 49, 58, northeast wind, colder, cloudy. Yep, that's sweaters and jackets, the whole thing. And then we'll do it again on Tuesday, 41 and 57 by Tuesday afternoon as we're beginning to ring in the new year. All right, that's where we stand. Have a great evening, everybody.